Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Mariya. This channel is about spirituality. Please subscribe below so we can be YouTube buddies. This video is about resetting your masculine energies, a practice that we all need to do once a year. This is not very well known, and so a lot of people experience what's called chronic fatigue. Chronic fatigue happens when we don't properly reset our energies. On top of that, chronic fatigue can also happen if you're not able to receive the energies from the universe. You're blocking some of that incoming stream. But in this video, we're not going to be talking about the latter. We're going to be talking about the former. So a lot of people experience chronic fatigue because they don't know how to properly reset their energies. And there's actually a method to what you can do in order to optimize your energy levels without having to resort to stimulants like coffee or energy drinks or anything else that you may be using. So here's how this works. We are very cyclical creatures. We obviously sleep when the sun goes down, and we are very much privy to seasons and all the other cycles of our lives. Now, because of our very hardworking, overachieving 9-to-5 work culture, we have, not to mention electricity too, right? And like the completely messed up circadian rhythms. But as a society, we are functioning off of coffee and we're always go, go, go. And a lot of people don't really have the chance to stop or don't get a chance to stop and re-examine what's going wrong. And so a lot of people would experience chronic fatigue, like over many, many years, right? And it feels like a predicament and you can't really get out of it. The absolute basic energy science, if you will, is resetting your energies twice a year. So in the winter, in the Northern Hemisphere, right now we're in the winter time in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm making this video in February. We are supposed to reset our masculine energies. In the summertime, we're supposed to reset our feminine energies. When we do so, both parts of within ourselves are well rested and primed for performance, for alignment, for attracting the things and magnetizing things into our orbit. If one or both parts of us, the inner masculine and the inner feminine, are tired and are, going, consistently going that extra mile and never getting a proper reset, it's really, really hard to make meaningful shifts in your life. It's really, really hard to feel happy. It's really hard to connect to the universal flow. All of these things become hard, if not impossible. So here's the deal. How do you reset the masculine energies? Resetting the masculine energies is an intentional energy practice. It requires a minimum of 3 days. So today I'm going to be giving you the ropes and sharing the insights on how to do the simplest version. There is a more robust version that you can do that is 9 days long and consists of 9 different meditative experiences that you can undertake. But that is a more, shall we say, advanced way of doing it. What I wanted to propose in this video is a very simple reset of masculine energies. First things first, before you do any practices, energy practices, one thing you need to understand is you need to pick 3 days. And those 3 days, if they can fall on the weekend, at least 2 of the 3, that would be amazing, because what you're trying to do is work, quote unquote, as little as possible during the 3 days. Our masculine energies are the ones that are responsible for maintaining a schedule, having a regimen, going after what we want, being overly active, even working out, right? So it's not just working on a job, but it's a lot of physical activity, a lot of intense physical activity, and a lot of intense mental activity is handled by our masculine. So if you are working a lot with your hands, then you definitely need to reset your masculine. If you're working a lot intellectually, you definitely need to reset your masculine. Bottom line, everybody needs to reset their masculine if you're looking for optimal performance and you're looking to not be tired all the time. You can you can start anytime between December and end of February. That would be like the most opportune moment to reset your masculine. However, up until spring equinox, call it up until March 20th, March 21st is when you can still do the practice and get the benefit. And then I guess you just wait for next year if that didn't happen. And then in the summer, you would want to reset the feminine, but we can talk about that a little bit later. What happens if you do not reset your masculine? You're going to have a lot less energy available for the actions that you want to take in your life. Making shifts, changes, transformations is going to be a lot harder for you. When I observe the state of our collective masculine, your inner masculine is very tired, is the one thing that I need you to understand, because we live in a world that's dominated by masculine energies, and I mean including in women also. And so we're just very much used to pushing and adhering to that schedule and like going at it as if, we're not really cyclical beings, right? So we're doing a lot of pushing and pressuring ourselves. So in other words, we very often lead with our masculine. Internally, it looks like you have two parts, the masculine and the feminine, but the masculine always leads the way and the feminine is always like dragged along a little bit. And so what usually happens in those scenarios is your feminine feels underappreciated, undervalued, and your masculine feels overworked and fatigued. And that is, probably the common refrain of the masculine energies, whether inside women or inside men on this planet, is that the masculine is extremely tired. It is extremely, it's under a lot of pressure. It always tries to perform. And by now, it's completely drained. And so it's very hard for it to get that ignition going. And that's why a lot of people lose that spark as they get older, and a lot of people feel like the happiest times of their lives when they were like kids or like their childhood or when they were younger. This is not the norm, you guys. You're supposed to feel happier with every year that you are on planet Earth. If your level of happiness is not going up year over year, you're doing something wrong. Or at least staying the same. It cannot be declining. That's a problem. It's a big, very chronic societal issue that most people don't talk about. So how do you reset your masculine? First, you give yourself 3 days of peace. If you can take off work, that's fantastic. Like, that's phenomenal right there. And then you allow yourself to accomplish as little things as possible, like down to a point. And I'm not saying like you would want to lie down on the couch all day, but you definitely want to go easy on like even working out or like cardio. Like if it's working out, it's maybe like something that's a little bit more gentle, like yoga flows, yin yoga, stretching, things like that. It's not going to be full on cardio, or, any other like boxing, for instance, like anything that requires your masculine energy to be up and running, you definitely want to avoid during the 3 days. And then it actually starts with the practice. So your hibernation or your winter masculine reset is going to start with a simple meditation in which you would picture yourself splitting into two parts, the masculine and the feminine. When you close your eyes, like almost like imagine that your body is splitting in two. And you're going to notice that once the masculine actually splits away from the rest of you, you're going to notice just how tired it is. And if you want to benefit more from this exercise, you can talk to your masculine and figure out what is it so tired from and what are the ways that you can better nurture it. Now, here's the deal. The reset is pretty much a mini energy death experience. You're obviously not going to die if you do this, but it's like you're going to have to allow certain energies to move out of your body and for the new energies to come in. One more point I wanted to make, like a little bit more on the broader side, right before I get into the actual technique. Every year, the reason we want to reset our energies every year in this way is because every year is a massive cycle. You are never the same year in and year out. There is always some change, some semblance of change that happens. About 15% of your cells are going to change year over year, which is enough for you to upgrade. If you are going on your old masculine energies without resetting the masculine energies, what the universe and your guides cannot do on your behalf is give you an infusion of masculine energies that are really going to help you in the next 12 months of your journey. So masculine energies, just like feminine energies, are not created equal. There is an entire range. It's almost like there's the entire rainbow inside of the masculine spectrum, and there's the entire rainbow of the feminine spectrum. Say for 2022, you may have needed color blue from the masculine spectrum. For 2023, you may need color purple from the masculine spectrum. And for 2025, you may need emerald from the masculine spectrum. But if you never properly reset the energies, you can try to play the game of 2025, which is the emerald game, with the energies of 2022, which was the blue game. And then you're going to be like, why is it not matching up? Well, it's not matching up because those energies were not meant for this period. And if you allow yourself to reset and be open to possibilities that energies can actually be crafted and more bespoke to you, as long as you understand how they work and take the moment to do the practices, you're going to notice that you're able to accomplish so much more and you're not getting tired and you can feel inspired all the time because our masculine is our inspiration. It's our direction. It's our life force, right? Do we have what it takes to go after our dreams? That's all our masculine. Do we have the courage? Do we have the motivation? That's all of the beautiful masculine energies. Okay, so 3 days. You pick them, you set them. You go into it with an intention to reset your masculine. Treat it as like a sacred thing that you do for yourself. Always in the mornings is the best time because that really helps you live the entire cycle. And between the 3 meditations that you're going to do, you need roughly about a day in between, so roughly around 24 hours. So day 1, you split your masculine from the entirety of you. And you're going to have to bury it. Is the bottom line. So essentially, you can bury it under a tree, like your family tree, like deep under the earth. Just allow your masculine to go under the tree, like this particular part that has been separated from you. And then make sure that there is, that part of you that is ready to essentially die out is deep, deep, deep within the soil. And you really want to feel that. And, some people perceive that, it this death, this mini death experience, some people think it's scary. But once you actually do it, you will realize and you would feel that there's so much serenity and silence in just this process of surrendering to the cycles. And there's so much wisdom in it too, where you no longer have to fight against the current, where you no longer have to pretend you never get tired, where you can finally admit that this version of masculine that has been running your life is so tired. It could not begin to describe how tired it is to you, right? And just acknowledging that is a huge sense of relief. And allowing that part of you, 100% of your masculine, just die under the tree. And so you essentially bury it and you allow all of the energies that are connected in your body to go under the tree. And the tree is going to incubate those energies for you. Day 2, you can use day 2 as a practice to set intentions for what you want your next year to be. Essentially do the planting of the seeds into the soil under the tree. So it's a little bit of a manifestation practice, right? So day 2 in meditation, you just plant the seeds of what you want. So that's day 2. Day 3 is actually, it's not even so much the resurrection, but it's the rebirth. You're going to notice that a whole new version of your masculine is going to be ready to be reborn, and it's going to start reemerging from under the tree, from the soil under the tree. And you're going to notice that it feels very different. It's going to be an entirely new set of masculine energies. So it's like your old ones are out of the picture. We're not about to revive those. It's like we're doing a complete reset, recalibration of your system. We're inviting the new masculine energies. And I want you to watch and notice what reemerges from under that tree, because it's going to be very beautiful. It's going to be your own masculine that is exactly a perfect match for the next 12 months of your life. So what your guides, what your higher self is going to send you in the form of these new masculine energies is precisely crafted, is a bespoke imprint and a bespoke answer to all of the challenges that you are going to face in the next 12 months. So it's beautiful. Pay attention to what kind of masculine emerges. What does your masculine look like? What do they wear? What color are they if they wear a color? And feel free to have a conversation with that part of you and be like, okay, why are you the way that you're being? And I actually find that this is quite a curious exercise because by the virtue of understanding the kind of masculine that arises for you, you can do a little bit of predictions for yourself because it would already tell you what you should expect based on those energies. Like, for instance, if a warrior is showing up, okay, probably ready for a fight over here. If a king shows up, okay, probably something to do with resources, maybe growing your business. Like, it's all of these different archetypes, right? So your masculine is going to be primed for the challenges that are up and coming. And so I find that third day when the masculine really reemerges, it's really beautiful to ask it questions. You can also give it a chance to kind of like walk along the road into the future, and you can see how it is interacting with the world, the things that it's doing. That could be quite beautiful. The end of this third day meditative practice is you imagine fusing that masculine back into the fullness of you, back into your feminine, so you're one, integral being, no longer split into two parts. So that's going to be the cherry on top of this experience. Now, I will tell you, allow yourself to do things that your feminine wants to do for the duration of your masculine rebirth, because essentially, right, what we just talked through was the process when your masculine essentially takes a pause and goes to rest under the tree until it reemerges on that third day. And your feminine, in the meantime, can spread her wings and she can fly. And ask your feminine what she wants to do in the interim, especially if you've cleared up your calendar. What does your feminine want to do? Is it something creative? Is it like a creative project? Is it making food? What does your feminine want to do? Does the feminine inside of you want flowers? So take that time to treat your feminine and to let her spread her wings, because that is the moment when the masculine is being reset is also the moment for your feminine to have a little bit of the moment in the sun. It is a really blissful time for you to get to know her, to start catering to her whims a little bit. So it's a beautiful moment. And again, allow yourself to live the 3 days in the feminine energies, being softer, perhaps being kinder, perhaps being more nurturing or loving instead of like go, go, go mode. And that is how you reset your masculine energies. I hope this was helpful. I hope you take 3 days to reset your masculine. And yes, I can't wait to read all of you guys' comments if you end up going through this practice. Please let me know how it goes. I'm sending you such a big, warm virtual hug. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, darlings.